and I am delighted to introduce Clary and Evan to share their story with you today.
Good afternoon. I'm Evan, and this is my mom, Clary, or more commonly known in my household as Coco, beloved grandmother to my 4-year-old daughter and 2-year-old son. We're here today together, healthy, happy, and honored to tell you a story about a time not long ago, which our family refers to as the adventure. There are 2 meanings for the word adventure. First, an adventure is an undertaking, usually involving unknown risks. And the second is an adventure is a remarkable experience. Our family's fight against kidney disease, or our adventure, is both of these definitions. Like many life-altering adventures do, ours has moments of great fear and moments of great hope. So I have to start with telling you a little bit about my mama. She provides the roots to our family's tree. She's still the one that my adult siblings and I call with issues big or small. Mom, Brycey has a fever. Mom, I have a big meeting tomorrow and I need your advice. Mom, what color pillows should I get for my new couch? Whatever the issue is, she's there to listen with patient ears. It also works to our advantage that she's a skilled marriage and family counselor. So in addition to sage wisdom and endless patience, my mom can put everyone in our family to shame with her boundless energy and appetite for all life has to offer. She fills her days to the brim with activities she loves, and more importantly, the people she loves. And on top of that, she does that all living with polycystic kidney disease.
Even though I had a crazy good life, filled with family, friends, golf, spinning, counseling, babysitting, my favorite, and more, I knew that polycystic kidney disease was silently looming in the background. I could keep it in the shadows of my life, or so I thought, because my PKD's mild presentation allowed me to fill my life so fully for so many years. I was told, and I wanted to believe, that most likely I would not be symptomatic until I was in my 70s. I liked this diagnosis and prognosis. It suited me fine. And it left me with a sense of carpe diem. Perhaps this carpe diem came from the quality of relationships I had acquired through time. Many of you are sitting in this room today. And perhaps I wanted to stay miles ahead of my PKD. I understood all that this diagnosis could carry with it. I knew my kidneys could grow cysts, making them larger than normal, and which would decrease my kidney function and eventually lead to kidney failure. I was familiar with this progression because I had watched many of my family members go through the same thing. They had a frightening decline of kidney function associated with PKD, including my mother, who died at age 50 when I was only 12. But by far, the most distressing aspect of this was the worry that my children could carry this gene. It is an inherited disease. The gene is dominant, so each one of my children had a 50% chance of having PKD.
Over the last few years, I started to notice changes in my mom's body. Her cysts were beginning to grow and her stomach became distended. But her zest for life and focus on health did not change. Aside from wearing slightly looser clothing, most people would not even have noticed that my mom's PKD was advancing. On June 20th, 2015, following what was nearly a year full of joyful celebrations for her 60th birthday and the engagement of both my brother and my sister, a cyst on my mom's kidney burst. My dad, husbands, siblings, their fiancés, and I immediately went into DEF-CON kidney mode. My mom went from being an active and vibrant woman to being in extreme pain and bedridden. We knew that we had to close ranks as a family and navigate the next steps on her behalf. My mom was the guiding star in our family, and now the roles were completely reversed. We were her guiding stars, and we needed to devise a plan to keep her alive.
Once my kidneys started to fail, all I could do was hang on. I thought I would have more time to prepare. What happened to being in my 70s? I remember thinking that in order to live, I would need extraordinary help. I would need help from another, a kidney donor, and that thought haunted me. After worrying about my children for so many years, inheriting the PKT gene, that thought was just impossible to me. Then I started to think about extended family and friends, and that thought was also impossible to me. Mothers only give to their children, and friends protect friends. How could this even be an option? These thoughts were swirling around in my head. I had gone onto a deceased donor waiting list 2 years before, just in case, so I would never have to ask anyone I loved to be in this position. But the wait list was about 8 years, and I was running out of time. For someone used to finding a solution, I had no answers. Then, one day, I could feel a shift around me as strong as a gravitational force. It all started when my Greek husband, affectionately known as the Spartan, sent an email out to my loved ones. He explained my health situation.
So this is the part of the adventure that holds the remarkable experiences, or as we call them, the gifts. Gift one, our community. It still stops me in my tracks to think about those who rose to the occasion for my mom. Our local hospital had to actually turn people away from the donor screening process because my mom had too many people in the queue. To experience that level of generosity, to be on the receiving end of it, well, simply put, it's life-changing. I will never forget the parking lot and grocery store conversations when I had run into someone who I hadn't seen in years, telling me that they'd been screened to donate. All of this from just reading my dad's email about what's happening to my mom. No words can do justice to the profound impact that that type of generosity can have on one person. Our entire family borrowed strength from each and every act of kindness. When my mom needed dialysis before surgery, friends drove her there and sat with her for 4 hours, saving us, her kids, the pain of watching her go through the process. We were nourished from the meals that friends brought and from the love that they offered. And through dear friends, we found our way to the transplant team at UCSF, where we felt fortunate that our mom was being cared for the compassionate and highly skilled Dr. Brian Lee, Dr. Mian Park, and transplant surgeon Dr. Chris Fries. Gift number 2. Against staggering odds that at least one of us would have PKD, my siblings and I all tested negative. This one. It was a true miracle because it meant that we were all matches to donate to my mom. It meant that we could save her life. So how did we choose? Well, it was simple. Number one, I'm the oldest, that's that. Number two, deep down, when I started to notice the physical changes in my mom, I knew I was going to be the one. I made a quiet, personal commitment to being the donor because it helped calm the fear of losing her. And three, I owed her one. She once sat next to a cute young man on an airplane, talked to him for 5 hours, invited him over for dinner. Now he's my husband. Husband equals kidney, no brainer. It would be misleading if I told you that my courage never faltered throughout my donor process. I'm the mom of 2 young children, and any surgery has its risks. I was worried about the post-surgery recovery and afraid about what it would be like to not hold my babies for 8 weeks. I'm not the best when it comes to needles, and after 70 vials of blood, it still have to bite my cheeks and turn my head anytime a needle nears my arm. I wondered how my body was going to adjust. Was I going to be able to have more children? I don't really do pain. Would this pain be okay? And I felt an extremely new kind of fear in being afraid for my own children. Strangely, that's an emotion my mom and I both shared during this process. She probably a little more than I. Fear is hard stuff, and it wasn't easy. But the chance to save my mom overrode that fear. I also realized that fear is a normal part of this process, and to help me better prepare and understand that, there was another gift waiting, which came in the form of my in-laws, parents to Airplane Boy. My father-in-law just happens to be a renowned nephrologist at the Houston Medical Center. My in-laws, Aurora and Camilo, shepherded my mom and me throughout the process. It was reassuring to hear that I could do this from someone that loved me and who also knew the risks. There was fear, but there was also so much gratitude. Gratitude that I could do something. There were so many instances where my family was helpless in the face of this medical crisis. But now I was not helpless. I could be the cure. I could get my mom back. I could get my family's guiding star back. And on September 28th, 2015, we pushed fear aside and did just that.
When I first woke up after a 9-hour surgery on my kidneys and my liver, I was greeted by a very relieved husband, and his words relieved me. Evan was okay. She had come through the surgery remarkably well. As soon as we were able to get out of our beds, our goal was to reunite. The first time Evan walked into my hospital room, she slowly shuffled over to my bed, and we hugged each other, and we cried, and we cried, and we cried, and then we smiled. What a moment. What a gift.
The final gift of this adventure is the surprising and profound impact that being a donor has had on me as a person. It's changed the way I view some of my closest relationships and how I view myself. I got to feel the strength of others surround us. My husband, who was afraid to, was by my side in a whole new way. My siblings picked up all the slack at home so that my kids barely noticed that Mama couldn't hold them. My friends and my mom's friends fed our family for months. My aunt and my uncle dressed up in weird nurse outfits and when they came in from the airport. The countless acts of love go on and on and on. I gained a whole new dimension to so many of my relationships as a result of this experience. The love I feel is deeper. The gratitude I have is eternal. And when the dust finally settled post-surgery, there came a moment where I looked in the mirror and I saw my new single kidney body. My powerful and healthy body with its 5 new scars. The body that my mom gave me and the body that gave my mom back her life. And I had an entirely new sense of my own courage. I look back and it's the most scared I've ever been, the most vulnerable, and the smallest I've ever felt, but it's also the biggest I've ever been. And that's a gift my mom gave me.
While I may have never wished for this experience, in its own way, it was a tremendous gift. Our family watched our community come together to lend us support in the most remarkable way. And I watched each one of my children and their fiancés step up in their own remarkable way. If you are a parent or a friend, I'm sure you can imagine just how this felt. It was simply breathtaking. Today, we have a chance to come together as a community and give that kind of support to other kidney patients by making a gift to the National Kidney Foundation. Evan and I thank you very much.